So yeah. So this is mostly pretty chill with a couple of like fun stuff. So the first thing is first, which is going to take up the major bits at the beginning and the ending, which are going to take up most of it, which is one of the things which is happening, the research and the solution, going to space. But how do you go to space? You might be asking, because we've been trying for years, and that's easier said than done. And yes, Koro Sensei, I don't know, could possibly go up there. Or not survive. I don't know if he can breathe, if he doesn't need oxygen, or if he needs oxygen. Jury's out of this one. I don't know if he needs oxygen or not. It's a legitimate thing of like, maybe that's one of the things of like, yes, they went up in a rocket. And like, they went up there, and they did stuff up there, and that's important for some reason. It's like, then he won't survive, then he's not our problem. I don't know. They recommended it as like he turns into like the ball at the end of season 1. I was like, he goes into space and dies in space. The explosion will destroy the planet. That's not really going to solve the problem. It could, because like, realistically, by that point, that's half the year. So realistically, even by the time they took him up to space, half a year, you will still deal with problems. If the explosion is just an explosion, maybe it just hit waves and you get some push and really strong winds in some areas. If it's more, then there's kind of no point to all that. So yeah, unless I think you send it very far away, then the problem may be solved. I don't know, maybe it's just like a big explosion rather than nuclear. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. But it sort of shows them sort of going through the plan and doing the plan and sort of like going through being like, and this, and then this, and then this. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's like, ooh, tricks and illusions and da-da, which I love. I definitely find fun and entertaining overall. Definitely with some of the stuff that they pull off, I definitely think it's fun. So, then you slowly reveal of like, oh, wait, and I said something's going to come up later. Do you know the chemicals that they brought up? But I brought up in the wrong part because I forgot that part exists and it doesn't really do important. Yeah, it's the same chemicals that we made in this one that could solve the problem. We can use that! So let's just have a couple of fun episodes. Why not deal with like Valentine's Day? We all deal with everyone's connections with Valentine's. It's fun, right? It's really good. And then later on, why do we deal with, wait, there's something first. And sometimes I do this because I like doing the, and then this, because it's like very fun with segues. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, obviously you see one scene. It's the episode before this one, I think. Or is it this one? I think it's this one specifically. Yeah, this is this one specifically. One of the things that's happened is Koro Sensei, not Koro Sensei, the Professor and Miss Yelovich sort of being on a bridge, like being like, oh, you can't judge what I had to do. Because there's very much an angle of, she is a professional killer. She has killed people before, and if it wasn't debatable for the series where she became more of a optimistic person, she will go again. It's just like, I had to do it. This is my life. What do I do if not this? And I like one line where it's, he turns around and starts walking away and says, you can pray for me, and if you can only go, you can go to a shrine and pray. Starts walking up. So, you know I'm Christian, and why would I go to a place where I don't know anyone? And he turns back. It's the best line. I know this is not story related, but it's one of my favourite lines. Being like, oh, I think you misunderstood. There's no churches where I live. And it's like, huh? What does that mean? I don't. And the reveal of being like, Yeah, do you want to, like, live with me? And maybe a subtle way of being like, do you want to date? It's like, what the? It's like, and then this whole thing of like, oh, I don't know. It's like, up to you. It's like, no, different tongues, change. You can slowly tell that throughout, definitely through the last thing with the Reaper, there's slowly being this sort of romantic connection between the professor and Miss Yelovich. You can sort of, there's an interesting dynamic slowly happening, and you can tell in the last part where they're doing like photos and this, and it's like, oh, this photo, this, and they're sort of doing that, and they do this whole photo for fun. I think it's really interesting. But as Kuro-sensei's cleaning the desk, lights go off one after another, creating this grid. And then, boom. Obviously, if I'm correct, the blast happens in this episode, and then this is when it's like, oh, what's happening? What happened to 3E? You don't really see much until the very end, which I'm not going to talk about. Yes, they might be the last one. I don't truly know. I'll talk about in Saturdays what I might do next. Most likely the Criminal Minds stuff. And then I might not do Criminal Minds because there's a couple other episodes that I want to do next. First. But I don't do like 5 episodes. So I might be like, okay, 3 episodes of this and then 1 unique one. But again, not for today. So, one of the things which I definitely think is fun is that they slowly come forth is cleaning. And the one thing I want to talk about isn't anything with the series itself, more specifically with the ends. And not the songs in it. I'm not going to comment on them. Or even the intros, which I think are both good. Which I also like the fact that they have like the students like number of like, here is the number of each one of the students. Which I think is important because it shows the registry and who's the part of the classroom is important to both the story of the ethos, because it's about 3E trying to be better. But this is interesting because most of the time the ending is them drawing like Kuro-sensei's faces with a lot of things happening. But for the last couple of episodes, I don't know how, when it does start, it undoes the drawings. So the drawings are there and it gets undone. So what happens is, I, smile, drawings in the smile. What's happened is, drawings in the smile, smile, I. Almost like the series is being wrapped up and wiped away. I don't know if there's a bigger meaning to it, but I sort of see the fact of, when you sort of like have a life and you finish, sort of you wipe away the life. If you're sort of taking away the life is a metaphor for like assassination and killing, it sort of feels like you're sort of going, you think that we are going to because obviously at this point, slight spoilers, but it is something I want to talk about in this and definitely in the next one. You think that we are going to save Kuro-sensei. You think at the last moment, he's going to be fine, he's going to turn into a human, No. This is Assassination Classroom. You could have guessed from day one what's going to happen. But this is an anime, you might guess. You might guess we might go a bit lighthearted. We might save them the last minute. There's a couple of animes they do similar things. And we've had a couple of moments where we've saved someone. And a couple of moments where some people have a moment at the last minute. We even had one person assumed dead and then came back. And I said my thing with that one, I would prefer if he died. Just more impact. You also have another thing where one of the things that comes up is another person who gets saved, but not Kuro-sensei. Kuro-sensei is not. And that I'm going to talk about more in detail in the next one. But I think that details like his life is being wiped to the end. I don't know, maybe I'm overreading it, maybe I'm not, I don't know. If there's better people who could tell me a better reason why that makes sense, please tell me. I would love to know. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, I hope you like this video. And yeah, good night.